click the links for Odysee, BitChute, Gab, and to join the Discord. Warning, the Discord is a little bit out there. There's only, I guess, 2 rules. Don't advocate illegal activities, and the others, don't use the N-word with the hard R. So there's anything other than that is kind of open. The problem with free speech, or it's like people go to a free speech platform like Gab and then they get free speech and they're like shocked that people have a lot to say. You shouldn't be shocked. Definitely get on Discord, Gab, Alternative Media, Odysee, BitChute, because the censorship on YouTube is off the charts. This video, if you look up these words involving the president, the covering they wear in front of their face, and then yelling, those keywords in a YouTube search, you're going to get stuff from like 4 months ago. So this specific story, you try to find this on YouTube, you're like, oh my God, YouTube is covering for an 80-year-old dementia patient. So this is kind of the story. You can kind of see it in one image. It speaks for itself. That image says a lot. And then look at the expression on Obama's. He's looking over his former vice president like, what an idiot, what an absolute twat waffle. Well, yeah, the guy's out of his mind. But whatever. So a new cringe photo caught a moment President Joe Biden shouting at somebody during a 9/11 memorial ceremony while standing near the former presidents and the former first ladies. While attending the ceremony, he pulled his mask down. Shocking images. Just former president standing next to him, looking like he's deeply embarrassed. So now here's the thing. Let's see how many likes and retweets this thing gets on these comments. So that got 1,000 likes and 100 comments. You think, oh, that's a lot. No, man. If this was Trump, it would be 100,000. It would be 2 orders of magnitude greater. This is suppression by Twitter. Now, here's the weird thing is the censorship on Twitter is not as extreme as it is on YouTube. If you're looking for deleterious effects of the current experiment on YouTube, you can't find it. But if you go on Twitter, there's actually tons and tons of people talking about it. On YouTube, it's just a black hole. It's really spooky when you've got massive billion-dollar Google covering for this. It's like back in the 90s, people talked about the military-industrial complex. That was just a favorite trigger word for people for the left. And now there's this media government complex. And it should terrify people to think that the government is working with social media to censor you and craft a narrative where all ideas are not brought forth in the open marketplace of ideas. They're not all put on the table to be examined, cross-examined, rebutted, argued against and for, and evidence brought for both sides. You're not having a full and fair discussion anymore because you've got social media, and the government all working together to create this weird dystopian tech future. It's like some William Gibson novel, I don't know, Mona Lisa Overdrive or something like that, where like it's like a how do you kind of combine tech and tyranny, technocracy. I'm sure there's a way to combine those 2 words to make some cool buzzword. I'm trying to combine technical tyranny, something like that, where the government is using any agent of the state should be subject to the Constitution and limitations on power, right? It depends how close they're acting as an agent for the state. And you got social media who's just getting away with whatever they want, whatever infringement on your rights they want. And they go, oh, it's not the government, it's not the state, it doesn't apply. If it's all but the state, and it has so many contacts with the state, and if there's no reasonable alternative for the marketplace of ideas, then the First Amendment is meaningless if it doesn't apply to the social media. If that's where discourse is taking place, clearly the intent of the Founding Fathers was to protect free expression, no matter where it took place. Someone's living room? All right, that's one thing. But if you're talking about social media where all the government is on social media. All the mainstream media is on Twitter. They're all on Twitter, and you're saying, "Oh no, it's not protected there." Well, that's where the discourse is taking place. That's where the conversations are taking place that craft the narrative that shape the country. If you're not on Twitter, if you're not allowed on social media, you're not getting elected. If you can't crowdfund on and use PayPal and Patreon and all those GoFundMe sites because they've all agreed you're an Alex Jones or wrong thinker or Trump, you're not getting elected. You're locked out from what should be your constitutional rights to run for office or to have your voice heard, get your redress of grievance. You're locked out not by the government, but by these billion-dollar NGOs that are allowed to run in this country. And nobody in Congress is saying, wait a minute, this has gone too far. We're going to have to take this country back. If we value free expression, we value free expression on these platforms. Oh, they're private platforms. You're not in someone's living room. You're on these billion-dollar companies that is where the conversations are taking place. Anyway, besides Obama, former President Clinton and Hill Dog were standing next to Joe and Jill. No one of the four presidents was seen pulling their face masks down following the Wu flu protocols. As now, it remains unclear who Biden was yelling at when a Getty photographer caught him in the moment, and there are no chances anyone would ever find out due to the media that would probably whitewash it. Social media immediately reacted to the photo. Yeah, of course, they had a lot to say. The thing is, you're not seeing this on the mainstream media because the mainstream media. I will say that the Hill is doing something where some of the medias are starting to come around to criticizing the Biden administration lightly, gently. So it's not like the Hill has suddenly become far right. They've become slightly critical of the executive. A little bit. Barely. And even like when there's an interview and there's like three of them, they're talking about Rose McGowan, and there's these two women who are talking about Rose McGowan, the Epstein-Weinstein stuff, and the one guy who's there, who's like, yeah, we'll discuss this more later. Like, if you're biased, you're not the media, you're just propaganda. But it is what it is. Yeah, this is a mess. Get on Odysee, BitChute, definitely get on Gab and Discord. Getting on these alt platforms helps people find each other after we get kicked from the main platforms, and we have no choice but to go to these alt platforms. All right, I will see you guys on the next episode.